Hello, it is drinks here at Haslegrave, and we're going to see if we are able to get back and talk to you once again. And it sounds promising, as if we are clear once again, so thank you for bearing with us there. Our apologies. The score is now 112 for 4 at the 25 over mark. We will do our best to keep an eye on it. I am delighted to say that I am still with, alongside me, Regina Sudazai Khan, the Italy and Sussex player. It's good to be back, I think, is the first thing to say. And we seem to lose a little bit of audio around towards the end of the Southern Vipers inning, so our apologies for that, and our apologies we didn't spot it during the break, but we seem now during the break to have been able to reboot things, and hopefully we will be able to bring you the remainder of this match, because things are getting quite tense, with the Blaze looking to chase down 289 for a place at finals day. They need another 177 from 112 for 4, and they also need to get around about that 230 mark, we believe, in order to get to avoid Southern Vipers getting the bonus point they would require for victory. So it's all very tense here. As I say, I hope we're back up and running. Charlie Dean has resumed the bowling in the 26th over here from the ski lodge end of the ground, and hopefully we should be able to bring you the remainder of this game now, as Dean floats up another ball and it's pushed into the offside. Claridge, who's now at the crease, scampers through for the single. She's on 10. Bryce, who hit that one there, moves on to 14. 113 for 4. You've probably been watching it more than I have whilst we've been trying to reboot things there, Regina. What do you make of what we've been seeing so far? We'll find out after this ball, as twirling in once more is Charlie Dean, pushed into the offside. No run to head towards the end of the over there.
Yeah, a couple quick wickets here. I think Charlie Dean bowling from the other end. There was a change in George Adams coming on and straight away a wicket, so good bowling change there by the captain.
Dean bowling again, taking Claridge on the pad. I don't think there was any bat involved there, and I can see the umpire is already poised, ready to give the knee a little tap. 113 for 4.
I must say, Lindsay Smith has bowled very, very well today. She's nice and tidy, as well as creating a lot of chances up in the air, as well as a couple of shouts. So
here's Dean down into the pitch, turned round the corner, great fielding at short, fine, and that stops another run being taken. I'll let you continue with that thought just whilst I give them the thumbs up upstairs. So if you just continue with your thoughts on the game.
No worries. It's been a good spin attack from both ends. Lindsay Smith has been clinical with the ball today, stopping quite a few runs. The change of George Adams has been quite useful as well, coming on straight away and getting a couple wickets. Averly also quite crucial from this end.
Very impressive, well done for your a little bit of filling there whilst we just gave them the thumbs up upstairs. But we seem to be back on, and we seem to be relatively clear. We're getting a slight little bit of distortion every now and again, so I'm going to just try and take the edge off that as Georgia Adams bowls and finds the ball hit up to mid-off. There's no run.
I must say the fielding
seems to be back up and running.
The Vipers fielding today has been excellent.
Lovely shot from Claridge, getting on with it, knocking it down towards those deck chairs by advancing down the track, freeing the arms and hitting the ball away. 118 for 4. And what was your assessment then in that little break there? Are we more looking at the 230 now, or are we still looking at that 171 as Adams bowls? It's in towards the pad of Claridge, turned away, no run.
I think you're always looking at that 171 because, of course, first things first, you want to win that game. I think Blaze are now going to want to try and accelerate a little bit more, building this partnership between Claridge and Bryce.
Claridge back into a stump, so they're not back far enough to create the room to hit the run, and Lindsay Smith busy across there with the fielding. Had a long spell, but now doing her duties in the field for the Blaze. Attempt to flick leg side by Claridge, didn't connect with the ball, and there is no run.
Yeah, Claridge looking quite attacking now. Kind of got her eye in a little bit more and trying to take on Georgia Adams a little bit, get her off her line lengths.
Well, she's gone again, and she's gone up in the air as she advances down the track, but the ball's gone to the floor. And well, in such a tight game with so much on the line for Vipers, Georgia Adams has brought the error. The ball's gone high in the sky, steepeling, but it's gone back down to ground. It remains 119 for 4. And well, there was an opportunity there. It's Georgia Elwis. Couldn't ask for a more experienced player to be underneath it, but it's gone down.
Good friend to Georgia Adams as well, so dropping your friend's catch. But yeah, that could be a crucial chance here, especially as we're saying Claridge is getting a bit more confident at the crease here, so it could be quite crucial.
Here's Charlie Dean bowling, turns back in towards the bat of Claridge, who took a single in the mayhem there to take it on to 119 for 4. A much more assured shot makes it 120 for 4.
Ella McCacken really patrolling that offside boundary there. She's done a really good job today. I think fielding's been excellent.
Dean bowling. This one's reverse swept nicely by Catherine Bryce behind square on the offside. Lovely little bit of improvisation. Takes Bryce on to 18. 124 for 4.
That's really good by Bryce as well. I think she's been trying to, again, anchor in innings a little bit here, steady the ship, especially after we've had some quick wickets balls. So it's very clever placement, seeing that there's no third man there.
Here's Dean at the back of the mark once again. Into the pitch. Turned leg side. Claridge is through for the single and through well for the single. So that little turn into the leg side seemed to have worked well.
Taking on that 45 fielder there.
125 for 4. That's the sort of thing the Blaze are going to need to do into the second half of the innings now. They've just got half their wickets remaining, 4 down. 126 the score goes to with the nudge into the leg side.
Charlie Dean being, again, like a bit of a quicker spinner as we're talking about, you can really see them trying to just get full face of the bat on that. I think someone like George Adams a little bit harder, comes a bit slower at you.
Dean bowls, it's into the pitch again. Dabbed leg side. It was almost a getting out the way of it shot there onto one leg, but it was effective as any others in this over, and it's brought a single. 127.
Bringing in that mid-wicket fielder for Claridge here and putting her into a third man for Catherine Bryce.
Driven up towards Georgia Adams at mid-off. I think it's probably important we run you through the wickets to fall so far then. Lee was out for 2, caught by McGacken off the bowling of Taylor. Then we saw the wicket of Sarah Bryce. She was out for 23, caught by Southby, the wicket-keeper, off the bowling of Charlie Dean. And then Marie Kelly was the next to go, caught by Lindsay Smith off the bowling of Georgia Adams for 56, before Georgie Boyce was run out, as she was in her previous innings, but the difference here being that she was run out for 6 rather than 104, run out by Dean for 6, and that means that these two have been in charge of advancing the scoring on from that point, and they have done so to 127, which will become 128 with that single from Catherine Bryce. So we are back. I believe everything is working well again, and hopefully we'll be able to take you through to the end of this game, because it's an important one for the Blaze, and that's an important shot for the Blaze, with Ella Claridge going down the ground, hitting it powerfully and taking the Blaze into the 130s with a 4, and that's what she's been brought in the side to do today. They lacked a little bit of boundary hitting, and Claridge seems to be taking on that mantle.
Yeah, top class batting from Claridge. She's really got her eye in now, and she's attacking Georgia Adams, especially going quite straight. We've seen 2 shots now going back over Georgia Adams' head. It's good from Claridge.
Clipped by Claridge into the leg side, and there is going to be another run for her there. 133 for 4. Bryce looking for the reverse now, finding that paddle is working well for her, but will it have the legs to go all the way to the boundary? Just inside the rope, it's pulled in. So Ava Lee chasing it all the way down there, doing well. 135 for 4. Ava Lee just about managing to keep it inside the ropes there.
Yeah, Catherine Bryce reading that really well and pulling out that shot again. I think that's really wise, especially not having that fielder there. But Ava Lee's moved around again, so egging her on to try again.
Georgia Adams bowling and defended this time by Catherine Bryce on the front foot up towards mid-off. No run as a result of that one. Here comes Adams once more to try and deliver to Bryce, who hits down the ground. It's misfielded by the bowler, but it will only cost her one more run to the total. 136 for 4. We're just starting to see some boundaries coming for the Blaze here. They're not having a problem ticking it along. It's just whether they're going to suffer the same problem that the Southern Vipers suffered in the back end of their innings of not being able to accelerate at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I think Southern Vipers have done a really good job of keeping their bowling quite tidy today, actually. There's not been many loose shots, and the batsmen really have to work for their shots today in order to try and score some runs. Attacking the bowling has been really useful, as we've seen for Claridge. She's been able to hit Georgia quite well back straight. Catherine Bryce as well, pulling out some more 360 shots, playing the reverse sweep, which I think has worked out quite well for her today.
What will she look for here? Dean is bowling, tucked into the leg side by Catherine Bryce. One more goes on to the total, 137 for 4. As I say, we seem to be in sync as well with the pictures now, which is good after that reset. So that's working quite well. Apologies if it does go a little fuzzy at the exciting moments. That seems to be the only thing we can't solve at the moment. But we're doing our best to keep that in check as much as we can as Dean comes and bowls. Outside half of the bat. This isn't where Claridge intended, but it may well be profitable from her point of view. There was appeals for a run out, and it is run out. The finger goes up once again on the far side, and back she came for 2. Claridge having outside edged the ball, and it's cost the Blaze their 5th wicket. They will move on to 138, but they will be 5 down. And Claridge will have to depart the scene, run out with a superb throw from the boundary down at 3rd. Well, a big moment.
Yeah, Mary Taylor, that was well fielded from her and a good turnaround. Claridge taking on that 2nd run, which, to be fair, in this moment in time, you would think maybe they're going to push for 2s, but just not quite there. Taken very quickly by Southby.
Yeah, it was always going to be one where the keeper was going to have to be involved, and you're right, it was a great throw from Taylor, more famed for her bowling, but her fielding was spot on there. They need at least another 100 runs, I feel, here, the Blaze. We think the mark's around the 230. It's either 231 or 232. All have been muted, such as that sort of a day, to avoid the bonus point defeat. The 152 with 5 wickets remaining feels a long way away at this stage, Regina.
It definitely does. I mean, 21 and a bit overs remaining. 20 overs and a bit remaining. 152 seemingly quite daunting now for the Blaze, but Catherine Bryce is looking quite good. Maybe she can anchor the ship a little bit and hope that everyone will bat around her.
She almost has to stay in now, I think, until
Yes.
they pass that 230 mark, really.
100%.
In comes Charlie Dean. She's bowling, and this one is pushed leg side, and Georgia Elwis will pick up at short mid-wicket. And she will be quite relieved, I would imagine, having dropped Ella Claridge, to see her departing run out.
Yeah, especially not for 2 anymore, so it was okay from her behalf.
That's what the game's about, isn't it? It's one of those that it's fine margins, be it run-outs, be it drop catches. We saw Josie Groves drop one and then catch one in the Southern Vipers innings. Can the Blaze find a way here? Again, the ball popped up on a length by Charlie Dean, and she's heading towards the end of the over, so the little flick of the finger goes, sends Bouchier back towards the long-on boundary. Stays a good few paces inside it, actually, almost as if to tempt the new batter to the crease to try and go over the top. It's Teresa Graves who's come to the wicket to accompany Catherine Bryce. Can these two see their way through. Graves batting one further down in the order, so that's a bit more depth to the Blaze lineup. Can they find a way to get to, at very least, the 232 mark, which we think would guarantee them a place in the final, but if not, to the 289 mark? It seems to all be on here.
I think Catherine Bryce will take on quite a seniorship role here, knowing what she has to do and what she has to get here.
Bryce with a late cut. It's going to head down towards third. It's the start of a new Georgia Adams over. It gives them 2, but perhaps doesn't give them the boundary that they were after there.
Catherine Bryce playing quite a cool and calm innings. We haven't really seen her go for it a little bit and kind of get that boundary that she's probably looking for, but rotating the strike quite nicely and getting 2s.
Made 51 against the Sunrisers, 53 and 51 in that tournament. The ICC qualifiers, both those innings against France. Doesn't get a run here as she chops into the offside.
Yeah, she's in form, definitely in form. We were big mass celebrations when we were able to get her out.
Imagine. I think there will be from the Vipers too. They know on this occasion she might be the last thing standing between them and victory in this game that would send them into, at very least, the eliminator. Another single taken. 1 for 4. Graves just assesses her options here. Claridge run out by Taylor for 23, the last wicket to 4. Batted for 27 balls, hit 3 boundaries. Looked dangerous when she struck those boundaries. Here's Georgia Adams. A little advance by Graves. Drives back to the bowler. Struggled, it has to be said, in the previous game against Sunrisers. Different task here though. Catherine Bryce gets there, shake of the head from the umpire. Southby can't believe it. She thinks Bryce was short of her ground, but the umpire had a very, very good view of that and disagreed. It was a tight single again, and so soon after another run out. It's
maybe feeling a little bit of pressure there, Graves, just trying to get off the mark there and get Catherine Bryce back on strike.
And 1 for 1 for 5. Apologies if I've been saying 4. It's still showing 4 on the board, but it's definitely 5 down now with the run out. So there's a real task on the hands of the Blaze batters. As I say, 230 seems to be the first port of call on the mountain. 148 seems a long way away for them now. Bryce down the track, clipping into the leg side, picks up 1. 7.69. You'd probably round it down to 7.68, but it had a mark which we think would guarantee them a place in the final. That's probably more the strategy here, you would have thought. Just touched leg side. Charlie Dean delivering her right arm over the wicket off spin again. Just looking at the overs, it's almost as if Adams is trying to get through her spell. She's going just under 1 a ball at the moment, in fact under 5.5 runs per over. Dean, a similar sort of rate of conceding runs as that one gets through outside the off stump. Southby quick with the gloves again, as she was throughout the 100, of course.
Yeah, I think Georgia Adams is also bringing up a lot of wicket-taking opportunities here. A couple balls in the air and a couple balls hitting pads. So
she's got 1 so far. The catcher Lindsay Smith to dismiss Marie Kelly. Little tuck into the leg side by Graves. Good from her to keep the board moving. That's her job really at this stage. Maybe has to have a bit of a dip in the back end. But yeah, as I say, I think for me they've got to get up to the 232 mark, past that, and then they can see what's left, and you know, if it's say 50 off 5, have a go at it. But here it's all about getting to finals day, I think, now for Blaze, as Catherine Bryce is back in her crease and hits it down the onside of straight to Maya Bouchier. Single taken.
100%. I think that's more of an attainable target right now for them, just to kind of relax into their innings, secure that spot, and I guess the end result is what it is. It's fine for them.
Let's take a look at the scores elsewhere. It looks as if Vipers at this stage, as another single is taken into the leg side, are at very least going to get a win, which would take them to finals day. It'd be some achievement. They've had a tough little competition this year. Lost twice to the Sunrisers, which I don't think many would have predicted at the start. Looks as if South East Stars are going to beat the Central Sparks as Dean bowls. Leg side it goes. Pushed there by Bryce on the front foot, and it goes to a straightish mid-wicket in the end. 148 for 5. Graves has 3. Bryce has 31. Things seem to hinge in her hands here. Under cloudy skies that the Blaze have been batting. So those scores elsewhere just before I bring in there Regina. So 68 for 3 now, the Diamonds in a rain-reduced game, 29 overs aside. They're in the 13th of those 29 overs against Sunrisers. Sunrisers with a bonus point win would have been looking to catch Vipers with a defeat, but that seems unlikely now. So it seems like Northern Diamonds are going to be trying to push for that place, but they will struggle, of course, if Vipers don't win with the bonus point, or if Vipers win here, it's all over for the Diamonds, as that one's hit out to Windsor on the cover boundary on the cut. 1 run taken, 148 for 5. And as we were saying, the other big game in this competition, South East Stars 283 for 7 from their 50 overs. Sparks 87 for 5, requiring another 197 off 27 overs at 7 and over with 5 wickets remaining, as this one's clipped leg side by Graves up to mid-on. No run taken, so it looks as if the Stars will be going into the eliminator and with the Vipers, but whether they will be playing the Blaze or the Vipers depends on the bonus point, as this one hits the pad of Georgia Adams.
Graves. Georgia Adams is
Georgia Adams bowling there into the pads of Graves, as Graves goes back trying to force Adams away, can't do so. Yeah, very tight.
Graves not just able to kind of get it away. George Adams sticking on that off stump length.
What can she produce here? Graves driving down the ground, but there's a fielder back. Another 1 to the total. Blaze just inching along at the moment. That does bring up their 150 though. 150 for 5. So I suppose they're halfway to the total with half of the wickets, but it's the overs column becoming the concern now, Regina.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, again, this could be where an acceleration starts. Just one batter needs to get going, and the rest can then help out.
Clipped by Bryce, leg side as she advanced down the track. Takes another 1. It was a flighted off spinner. 151 for 5.
Blaze definitely lacking that boundary at the moment. There hasn't been one for a long time, so a lot of pressure on probably mostly Bryce just to try and get that boundary away. Bryce has been able to get her eye in for it a little bit, being on 34. Graves probably just looking to support Bryce at the moment, but Vipers doing very well to contain them, not letting any boundaries through. Excellent fielding we've seen out on the ropes. It's been brilliant, and good chasing from the infield. But Bryce will be trying to find a way now to see where she can find that gap and perpetrate it quickly so she can get a boundary.
2-3-1 seems to be the mark at the moment. It looks as if it's getting very, very close indeed. Another single taken, 152 for 5. The total moves on to. Really inching along here, aren't they? It's just... Or yarding along, 22 yarding along it seems.
Yeah, no, it's tough in these situations. You don't want to get yourself out, but at the same time you know you have to do something.
Turns in towards the pad. Lots of appeals from Southern Vipers players, lots of hands on heads. It looked, even though we're on an angle, as if it was always turning away down the leg side. 151 for 5 it remains.
Yeah, Charlie Dean didn't seem too convinced, but still went up nonetheless.
They're squeezing in here though, the Vipers, aren't they? Yeah. Shame they're not the boa constrictors, because it feels like it the way they're fielding. Caught at cover! A drive off Charlie Dean against the spin from Teresa Graves. Lindsay Smith there with the hands, And 151 for 5 becomes 151 for 6. There's a big task on for the Blaze now. It seems to hinge on the shoulders of Catherine Bryce, Regina.
Yes, indeed. As we were saying already, they're looking for that kind of escape if they can, in a bit of a place of where they really need to increase the run rate, but need to make sure they don't lose wickets. And unfortunately, I think the pressure has got the best of Graves there, unable to get it through that cover gap. And brilliant take from Lindsay Smith.
Really was, wasn't it? Away to her left-hand side at cover, and just clung on, and it was exactly what the Southern Vipers needed at that point.
I mean, as we said, they're probably looking for that boundary option, but I think Graves' job was definitely to give that strike to Bryce, but frustration does get the best of us, and unfortunately Graves just isn't able to get that one through.
Lucy Hyam, though, is the sort of player who can always find a gap, the sort of player who can do exactly what you're saying there, just give strike to her partner.
Yeah, I mean, I think Catherine Bryce now must be feeling the pressure a little bit. She probably feels like she needs to bat more of an innings now, but now she's got Lucy Hyam as well. It would be good to keep that kind of run rate ticking along a little bit, but really need to start looking for those boundaries, and I think it's getting really frustrating for the Blaze now. As you can see, we've had a couple shots now kind of played with frustration, which is causing wickets to fall. It's never a good thing.
We seem to have got our delay back, but we might have solved the distortion a little bit. So I think we're where we can be at this stage as Dean comes on her way, having just got a wicket. She's looking for Hyams now in his bowling. Hyam is turning leg side. Freya Kemp with those slingy arms flings it back in the distance. In fact, it might not have been Kemp who got to the ball there. It was Georgia Adams with the slingy arms. No, it was Kemp. It was Kemp.
Finding that gap quite quickly, Hyam, eyeing that leg side, especially. She's got quite a big field apart from Georgia Elwes, who was in mid-wicket.
Well, Hyam just starting the innings. She's got the one already, and Bryce happy to keep nudging the ones. They need to just make sure that they don't. As I say, I think the win is becoming out of the question now, getting the 135 that's left from 154 for 6, but they need to just make sure it doesn't creep towards one a ball now to get to the 231 mark, which seems to be the consensus on where the Blaze need to get to qualify. Certainly the view at halfway, and most things I'm seeing are suggesting that as well now. Another single to the total, 155 for 6.
Yeah, Lucy Hyam retaining strike for the next over. Looking very promising here. She's really nudging that through, but again, fielding and bowling's been very tight from the Vipers, not giving them much room. We're having a change in bowling. They're taking off some spin from the far end, putting Mary Taylor back on. She opened up the bowling quite well, actually, Mary Taylor, taking a very early wicket.
Yeah, she was tidy, wasn't she? What figures did Mary Taylor get from that opening spell? So far she's bowled 4 overs 11 for 1, so I think that reflects what you're saying.
Yeah, no, she's a brilliant bowler. She knows, I mean, she's worked very hard on her bowling. I've known her since she was young, and she's always been, a first pick bowler, opening the bowling, and she's also a top order bat, especially when we were younger. In fact, I think she used to class herself as a batting all-rounder when we were younger.
People often do, don't they? In sort of their younger teenage years, and even beyond that, can be one thing, and then actually find they've got a talent for something else. Taylor's certainly got a talent with the ball and proved it there, bowling right onto the stumps of Lucy Hyam, who was back and defending in orderly fashion.
Yeah, Taylor just sticking to what she knows. She knows that if she keeps control here, that she can put the pressure on and maybe cause Lucy Hyam to just give up her wicket here.
Hyam just scrapping for a team. The very first game. Oh, she's got a little edge through to Southby, who celebrates, and Hyam kicks at the turf. It was a really good delivery from Taylor. It was brilliant glove work from Southby to cling on, and she knew it straight away. There was a little flick. 155 for 7. The Blaze collapsing away here and in real danger of having to go into the eliminator and get to the final the hard way.
Yeah, Lucy Hyam kind of half committing to a shot there, not really going for it as much as she probably could. Mary Taylor just with the ball, finding that area straight away, back on track, and ultimately getting that brilliant catch from Southby.
got the prize wicket of Lizelle Lee in her first spell. She's got the wicket of Lucy Hyam here in her second spell.
Yeah,
the Blaze falling away. Catherine Bryce really is their main player now, isn't she? Kirsty Gordon, the skipper, is a fighter, and she proved that in the first game back after the break, where she came in and battered with Nat Siver-Brunt in a situation where the Blaze could have lost that game, and they didn't, and it was largely because of the gutsy batting of Kirsty Gordon, and she needs to produce more gutsy batting here.
Yeah, two very senior players with a lot of experience. I think both of them here will just work together to build that partnership. They ultimately are probably looking for that 231 mark just to secure their place. I think in their heads that probably is the most important thing right now.
That day at Edgbaston, Gordon made 15 off 55. It was a real marathon 71-minute knock. She needs to produce something similar here, you feel, but probably at a slightly quicker rate to ensure they don't get behind too far in terms of getting to the 230 mark. They're not going to get the 134 more they need for victory here from 155 for 7. But can Kirsty Gordon produce something? She played a very different innings the other day against Sunrise, where she came out and hit a 6, and that seemed to just be a just keep believing to her team. Well, it's in her hands now. She's out there in the middle. It's not her favoured suit batting, but she'll try and do everything she can, and she touches this one behind square on the offside and gets a crucial run. Catherine Bryce to the striker's end. Little signal of a slight bit of lift from Taylor that Gordon has made in the direction of Bryce. The two Scots just trying to fight their way to a score that would get them in the final. We believe it's 2-3-1. It looks a long way off at the moment. Here is Taylor, appeal for a caught behind, and it's Bryce who's out this time, twice in the over. Taylor repeats the dose. Southby's taken 2 catches off her in the over. Catherine Bryce out for 36. And well, 8 down for 156. The Blaze in real trouble here, and it requires a run rate swing as well, but you imagine the bonus point will provide that run rate swing here. And well, Catherine Bryce departs. 2 in an over from Mary Taylor. You said she bowled well in the first spell. Well, she's picked up 2 in her first over back.
Yeah, she's bowling really well here. Again, same sort of thing. It's kind of a half committing shot, not really forward, not really back, and ultimately getting that edge on the bat and straight to Rihanna Southby. This is really good bowling from Taylor. She's been clinical, and you can see the pressure really building, especially quite a lot of dots in her overs. Blaze are really going to have to push and fight here for the next 16 overs if they want to try and reach that 230 mark, which seemed very probable earlier on, but
it did, and
it's funny how the game changes.
Yeah, it just seems that this wicket here at Loughborough, and it could be the quality of the Vipers bowling here, has got more difficult to bat on since Sunrise has started on Wednesday morning. They batted very nicely indeed. Different wicket, I think, today. In fact, I'm almost certain it's a different wicket. However, it just seems as if the squares runs were maybe taken up by Scrivens and Dowse the other day, and even Boyce with her 100, and now the Vipers are just hitting a really good area. And Mary Taylor this over has been top quality, and she bowls outside the off stump and brings it to an end. 2 little edges through to Rihanna Southby. They dismissed the batters of Hyam first, who was out for 2, caught Southby, bowled Taylor, and then the same dose, caught Southby, bowled Taylor for Catherine Bryce, out for 36 in 44 balls, 28 minutes, with 2 fours in fact. 49 minutes was the time Bryce,
which is what Windsor wanted. She really wanted to play that cut shot through that cover point kind of region, and the Blaze kind of gave her that width, so she was able to play especially a couple down leg side. The Vipers have given no width at all today. They've bowled stump to stump, and it's worked out very, very well, especially as the conditions are making it harder to bat.
And they're tightening the screw now, because Lindsay Smith comes back. 8 overs, 29 for none so far. She's got 2 left that have been saved in the Georgia Adams back pocket, and the Vipers just going about this very professionally. Dot ball to start with, pushed out to Windsor at cover. In fact, it's Dean at cover at the moment. into the pitch it goes from Smith. Dean busy again at cover, running in and picking up one-handed. The Vipers enjoying their work. They know that this is very likely to be enough to take them to finals day. It looked as if the Blaze would always need that 2-3-1 to avoid the bonus point defeat. They're a long way from it. Chipped in the air here.
Yeah, just not really fully committing to a shot. I mean, at this point you kind of feel like they should commit a little bit. Of course you're mindful of the wickets at this stage.
Well, Gordon trying there, wasn't she, to just play another sensible shot, but it's all on her now with 15 overs remaining to get them up to where they need to be. They've gone for a really risky single. There was nearly a run out at both ends. They get through. It's a bye, which is harsh on Southby, who barely let the ball go anywhere off her. But I think if they'd had their time again, they might not have taken that one.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not the smartest decision situation that they're in, but an extra run to this total, I don't think they'll complain too much.
Grace Ballinger, the Blaze number 11's keen. She's there in her pads, just doing a few stretches before coming to the wicket. Josie Groves, who came out earlier in proceedings ahead of Sophie Monroe, and Lucy Hyam for that matter, and Kirsty Gordon last time, but back down at 10 today. Can hit a clean ball, but that's probably not what's required here. It's just sensible batting. And there's an outside edge from Lindsay Smith, and Josie Groves is the latest to go, caught by Rihanna Southby, who's having a great day behind the stumps. Has now caught Bryce, both the Bryce sisters in fact, for 2 wickets, as well as Hyam, and now Groves. A brilliant day, a vintage day for the Southern Vipers keeper, who's almost been described as a specialist keeper in the 100. Well, she's proved just how good she is with those gloves. 157 for 9.
Yeah,
it's a long way for the Vipers.
Rihanna Southby making up for kind of the batting, and she probably didn't hope to play today. She'd be happy. She's got quite a few victims today, and she's keeping very well.
Yeah, she'll be annoyed about that bye then.
Yes, yeah.
The ball had barely gone anywhere, because that's the only one of the innings. But brilliant keeping from her. 74 more required to get to that mark of 2-3-1. It feels a long way for these two. A final wicket partnership of 74. That's what the Blaze require if they're going to make finals day. Otherwise they go into an eliminator. It looks as if it will be against the South East Stars, who've beaten them twice this season in both the games that they have played in this competition, because the South East Stars set Central Sparks a big total to chase down, and at the moment the Sparks are 103 for 7 in the just about to enter the 27th over, so they're needing 7.5s there to get to their victory target. The Blaze need 9s if they're to get to their victory target, but more doable is the 74 they would require for finals day.
It's rather exciting to think about it, though.
It is, but I think it's rather stressful for those from the Blaze persuasion. They've been saying in their interviews, both Ballinger, who's batting now and defending that first ball, no run from it, but she's still there is the crucial thing. And Georgie Boyce, after 100 here the other day, they were saying they haven't been playing their best cricket and they know it, and that's all it would require today. Well, they were good in the field, they were good with the ball, but the Vipers were good with the bat, and they set them a formidable total of 289, and now it's all about getting to that 2-3-1 mark, and 74 is a lot for number 9 and number 11 to make.
I think hindsight is a wonderful thing, because you look back and there's quite a few things you probably do differently. I think there's been a couple maybe frustrating wickets, as we've seen, but including the run out of Georgie Boyce. I think that was a very crucial moment in the game. As we know, she scored runs against Sunrisers. She could have done the same today, but maybe a lack of clarity.
Bowled by Taylor here into the defensive stroke of Gordon, advancing to exactly where she needed to be. Regina Sudaze Khan alongside myself, Mike Perkins here, the Italy and Sussex cricketer, watching on in what has been a tense encounter, but it's one the Vipers are in control of, and they look to us here to be going to finals day, as Gordon does get a precious single touched into the leg side off her pads. 158 for 9.
Yeah, Mary Taylor just slightly missing her outside off stump delivery there, which has been quite successful for her today. We haven't actually seen a slower ball from her yet, probably because it hasn't really been needed today. She's bowled brilliantly, bowling her line length as she usually does and not going for many.
It's already around about 5.2 the rate to get to the 231 mark, so it's almost creeping up to want to ball that as well to add to the woes of the Blaze. It just feels there's no way they can get here. There's a healthy crowd watching on now, enjoying what they're seeing. They're seeing high quality Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy cricket here, but they're not seeing the home side get to where they want to be as Ballinger drives and Georgia Adams, no it's not, it's Charlie Dean in at cover. Of course it's Charlie Dean at cover doing the stop.
6 runs, 4 wickets, that's what we've seen here. It's been a quick attack from the Southern Vipers that's saying they've kept themselves on top. They haven't really let go of that, which has just been brilliant for them.
Wow, that really is something, that fall of wickets, as Taylor comes around the wicket off the front foot. In the end was Ballinger, but played it late so it went behind square. 2 off the over, 159 for 9, but it doesn't feel enough for the Blaze at the moment. We said we'd keep you up to date on the One Day Cup final as well. Hampshire 110 for 2, chasing 268 for victory against Leicestershire. They've been on top for the bulk of that, although a good recovery from Leicestershire to get to 268. Hampshire would back themselves to chase it at a high score in Trent Bridge. A little bit of indecision between the batters there. No run taken. Boucher's throw was slightly wild, but Southby's such an excellent keeper. She took it one-handed on the half volley. 159 for 9. 72 more to get to the 231. That's what the Blaze need. Can they find a way of doing it? Probably involves seeing off Taylor first of all. Gordon doing that with a defensive stroke. One more over for Lindsay Smith as well. Remind me of what that fall of wickets was then. That looks quite something.
Well, now it will be about I think it's 7 runs and 4 wickets lost. So
yeah, but it was 4 for 5, wasn't it? The 6th wicket went on 152. The 7th wicket on 155. Then 3rd on 156 and the 4th on 157. So that's 5 runs for 4 wickets. I mean, just wow.
Yeah, Vipers really showing their class here. You talk about finishing a game, and that's exactly what Vipers are attempting to do here. I mean, this final
Smith bowling now, and this one's driven offside, and it's brilliantly fielded. Absolutely fantastic work in there at short cover, and everyone. It was Alice Monaghan on as the 12th fielder who did that, but everyone's got a smile on their face as a Viper.
Yes, yeah, 100%. You definitely have your smile now. You're feeling on top, and I think Vipers will probably remain on top.
Round the wicket comes Smith, pushing into the offside, diverting really was good, and it's another precious run. Takes them to 70 away from that 231, which would give them a place on finals day. It's the only thing they're hanging on to here. The Blaze, the victory target's gone. That train has well and truly left the station as forward comes Ballinger and defends.
Lindsay Smith bowling really, really well today. She's definitely caused a lot of pressure as well as wicket-taking opportunities. Again with the dot ball there from Lindsay Smith.
Floating it up, wasn't she? Just onto the length, forward defensive.
Probably looking for that second wicket, if I'm honest, just before she finishes. She deserves it. She definitely deserves it for today.
Looking to add to her collection of dots too. And it will be a dot she gets despite it taking the pad, despite the appeal. She's closing in here. A couple of balls left in the spell, I think. Boucher's stretching up at off, as that one is also defended by Ballinger. It was the last ball of the spell. There was no run. Southby and shouting encouragement. This is exactly what the Vipers came for today. They're very, very happy with where they find themselves in the game.
They came to attack and they've been dominant in both the bat and the ball, as we've seen today. They really took the batting into their own hands and making partnerships that were imperative to their final score. I think 280 is a massive testament to their batting lineup today. Probably feeling the pressure at the start of the game, but of course I think the pressure has definitely been taken off now.
You could argue they were more under pressure at the start of the game, because there was the potential that they wouldn't even make the eliminator. Now they're going to go straight to the final, and you can see how the momentum and the mood has swung as Taylor gets that one through outside the off stump. This is Taylor's 7th over, so if the plan's to see off Taylor, they've got a way to go here.
Yeah, and Southern Vipers, I think they've had a lack of a seam attack today, actually, in terms of Mary Taylor kind of being their only seamer that they've used today. Of course, there's the likes of George Ellis that could be used, but spinners have done a beautiful job today.
They have indeed. Just turned into the leg side by Gordon. Monaghan, who's still on. I think she's replaced various fielders who've just gone and either had a comfort break or a chat with the coach or a quick rub down. Because it was first Adams and it was then Lee. They're both back on the pitch. Another one's just snuck off here, but single to the total, 162 for 9. 69 more to reach that improbable target of 231. 288's definitely gone. That could have been the game right there as Ballinger drove. She was leaning back as she did and didn't connect. It could have rattled the off stump. Taylor will be wanting to win her team, or the game for her team rather, now, if we can get those in the right order. It's been a long day.
3 wickets for Taylor, well deserved wickets as well. So
looking for a 4th. Ballinger driving into the offside. Another single prevented by Charlie Dean.
Bowling her career best the other week. I think it was 4 for 39, Mary Taylor. So probably looking for that 4 to bowl her new career's best. You know, have to beat what you know.
Well, at the moment she's only gone for 15 runs, so it would be a career best. As that one pops up a little bit, as it passes the outside edge of Ballinger. Just needs to find a way to score here. But we're getting to the point where the overs are ticking away as well, and it's becoming very, very difficult. 1 wicket left. The game could end any ball now, but also 69 required. The asking rate is creeping up and up and up every ball. That's the end of the over. 11 more to go. 69 required for victory. It's already above 1 a ball. You can't see it really here, can you?
No, not really. It doesn't seem probable for Blaze right now, but these two staying strong and not looking like they're gonna give up their wicket anytime soon. But Vipers definitely looking to attack. I think they're changing up the ball. Here we go. They're gonna put on Ava Lee because of course Lindsay Smith has bowled her 10. Ava Lee, very promising young player. I've actually played against Ava Lee quite a few times.
What's she like to face then?
Oh, she's hard to read. It's what she bowls the delivery. You know, you're thinking that, like, do I go forward? Do I go back? So when she finds her line length, she's very hard to play. She gets a slight bit of flight on the ball, so I mean, maybe more wickets in hand. That coming down the wicket option would be quite probable for the Blaze, but didn't really capitalise on that earlier.
21 without a wicket so far, as this could be the game right here, as down the wicket comes the captain Kirsty Gordon and hits it straight into the hands of Georgia Adams, and Southern Vipers win, no doubt with a bonus point and with the run rate they will require to reach finals day. It's the eliminator for the Blaze, who have lost 3 of their 4 games since the restart. Today to the Vipers, to Sunrisers, and also to the South East Stars, who they very likely will face. Regina Sudazay can reflect on this game. I mean, 2 more contrasting emotions from the orange-kitted players out there you could not wish to see.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you feel for Blaze a little bit. They've been quite on top in this competition, so it's quite a shame for them probably not to have that confirmation of going straight into the final. But I mean, you have to applaud them. They've had an absolutely great competition. Wondering maybe if they might have peaked earlier on, but let's not hope that. Let's hope that maybe they can come back through in the eliminator. But the best emotions for Southern Vipers, not much to say. They came in with some fight, and again, as we said, probably under a lot of pressure at the start of the game, and the first wicket falls, heads probably fall a little bit, but Southern Vipers, what fighters, have come back and definitely taken it in their stride. They have dominated from the start in the batting and in the bowling, 100%. They've just been the better team today.
It's not been a vintage season for the Vipers. They've been put under pressure. As I say, they've lost twice to the Sunrisers, but they will be, once all the maths is done on this, going to finals day, and they will await to see who they will face from the eliminator. The players shake hands. Thank you for joining us on the stream here on the Blaze Cricket's YouTube channel. I'll give you a very quick run through of that chase then. Southern Vipers setting 2-8-9 to win, with 64 from Bouchier, 64 from Elwes, 52 from Emily Windsor and 40 from Georgia Adams. There were 4 wickets for Ballinger and 3 for Josie Groves for the Blaze. The Blazers' chase started with Lizelle Lee out for 2. She was caught by McGacken off the bowling of Taylor. Next to depart was Sarah Bryce for 23, caught by Southby, the first of the wicketkeeper's victims, off the bowling of Charlie Dean. Then Marie Kelly was out with the score on 88, the third wicket to fall, 56. She made a half century of 62 balls, 61 minutes and 5 fours she batted for that 56, and was caught by Lindsay Smith off the bowling of Georgia Adams, the captain. Georgie Boyce was run out for 6 by a combination of Dean and the wicketkeeper Southby. Southby was involved again later in the innings, but not before Teresa Graves was out for 4, caught by Smith off the bowling of Dean. Then with a score, that was a start of 4 wickets being lost for 5 runs, which really cast the Blazers' chances of making finals day away. So Graves going with a score on 152, Hyam with a score on 155. She was caught behind by Southby off the bowling of Taylor, who also in the same over got Catherine Bryce, crucially, who made 36 in 44 balls, 49 minutes, 2 fours. She was caught behind again off the bowling of Taylor by Rihanna Southby. That was 8 for 156, and it became 9 for 157 when Josie Groves was out for 0, caught by Southby, bowled Smith. That left a big task, 74 runs for the last 2 batters to get, and they couldn't do it, unfortunately for them. In fact, it was more than 74, it was 79 runs they needed to get, the last partnership, to get to the 2-3-1, which would have given them a bonus point. But Kirsty Gordon was the last out, the captain, caught by Georgia Adams off the bowling of Ava Lee for 4, batted for 14 balls, 20 minutes. It left Grace Ballinger not out for 2. The pick of the bowling figures was Mary Taylor, 7 overs, 15 for 3. Lindsay Smith, 10 overs, 1 maiden, 31 for 1, very tidy again. Charlie Dean, 10 overs, no maidens, 51 for 2. Ava Lee at the end there, 4.1, no maidens, 21 for 1. And the captain, Georgia Adams, a crucial wicket, 8 overs, no maidens, 41 for 1. The game is won by the Southern Vipers by 126 runs. They will head to finals day. The Blaze will need the eliminator, likely against the South East Stars. Do make sure you join us for more commentary on the Blaze Cricket YouTube stream. But this game has been won by the Southern Vipers by 126 runs.